So Trent Shelton,
What's up, man?
pumped to be here again.
Man, I'm glad we were able to sit down, man.
This is really exciting for me because I got to know you over, social media and the videos, and then I heard how amazing you were as a speaker, and you cut your teeth clearly, like talking to thousands of kids all across the country. I'd love to ask influencers a couple questions about how you built your career, but not just how you did it. How would you advise, a 22-year-old guy or gal who are like, I really want to be a role model. I really want to be an inspiration. I want to show my passions. I want to be on social media doing my own thing. And mostly, I want to have a career doing that. So not just, hey, how do I post selfies, but like, how do you build something from that?
Right.
I'd love to ask you a couple questions about that.
For sure, man.
And the first one is about your message, like RehabTime. How did you find that? How did you decide this is the thing? And how does somebody else who's just starting know what their thing is?
So I found the RehabTime message. Hopefully everybody's gonna go through this, but in my struggle, it was my dark place. It was me losing something I truly cared about. People know my story. If you don't know, it was football, and I was at my rock bottom. And at my rock bottom is where, I just want to be clear. Like, I'm a very private person, introverted person. So as far as being in front of cameras and my life publicly, that wasn't my thing. But I knew that there was something more to my life. And so one way that I like to describe it is my magnet, right? And I realized my whole entire life, when I look back now, there's always been this same consistent thing that was spoken in my life. Whether it's like me going to a church, my family, random people, was like, you have something about you when you speak. I'm just like, okay, what does that mean? And now I finally realized that it was my voice, it was RehabTime. And so I found my message in my struggle. And I think that's a beautiful place to find it because it qualifies you to help other people get through it. I'd rather teach from, education is great, right? I want to do both. But I think when you have the experience mixed with the education, it becomes super powerful.
For real. And so when people are thinking of what is my message? Because you've been really consistent about RehabTime.
Yeah, big time.
For how long?
Decade now.
A decade.
Yeah, 10 years.
So you've been pushing that. You've got swag on it. You're
everything, merch,
everything, all the merch.
I say rehab the world. It's who I am. That's the thing too. I mean, even in helping another person find theirs is it's not an on-off switch for me. It's my life. Literally. So
who you are is the message. Exactly.
If you take away social media, if you take away cameras, you take away stages, you're still gonna see RehabTime in me. And it all that's what I said, it all starts with me. It all starts with you. It started with me. It wasn't to, be a speaker. It wasn't to be all these things. Literally, it was to change my life.
Right. And you didn't do it just for a convenient hashtag either.
No,
this will be a good hashtag.
No, I didn't do it at all. Literally, it was for my own personal growth. And it's amazing when you influence yourself and inspire yourself, how you can inspire other people in the process. And I think a lot of people have it backwards. Yeah. They try to, as I like to say, they try to be it without becoming it.
Yes.
They try to inspire the world first instead of inspiring themselves.
Right.
And so to that person that's out there watching this, figure out what your magnet is. What have people said about you consistently in your past? Is it the way you smile? Is it the way you care? Is it the way you speak? Is it the way, you do business? Whatever it may be, maybe there's something consistent. If you haven't heard that, ask somebody. What is it about me that attracts you to me? And when I figured that out, I was like, okay, I see what it is. And I just tripled down on that.
I like that. Triple down on what you recognize other people saw.
Yeah, the magnet. Yeah. So yep.
That was authentic to you.
Big time. Big time. And it was my passion. It was me caring. It was the direct in your face. I ask my audience all the time. I say, and I still do it to make sure I'm still being consistent in who I am. I say, why do you follow me? And they always say, because you're real. And I was like, well, what does that mean? It's because you really care. You're authentic. And you show us that there's a way out through your life. You're not always perfect. You tell people when you're making mistakes. And so I love to see that consistent, authentic feedback because it lets me know that I'm still in the same place as far as message-wise why I started.
Yeah, I love that about you. It's I think there are a lot of people who are starting today, they go for the convenient hashtag, they go for portrayal because they want to become that. They're not that yet. And there's this thing about congruence that sometimes misses in social media. You're they're like this, but they're not congruent in their daily life about that. And I've found the influencers who just don't feel like they're being congruent with who they really are, they burn out faster than anybody else.
Big time.
They get miserable, or their crash and burn is like spectacular because everyone finds out that's not who they really are. So how did you stay true to that message? I mean, there must have been times that you thought, well, if I did this, it'd be more popular than that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as you grow, that comes across my plate every day. I mean, there's opportunities that I've turned down left and right, but I always stay loyal to my principles because I know that's where my peace is. You know, I could make, you know, I can go host a party, VIP, for probably 10 grand if I wanted to, but that's not where my peace is. And is it really worth it? And I always say is that gain, whether it's monetary or whether it's, significance-wise, is that gain worth losing my brand or losing myself? And it's not for me. And so I'm in it for the long haul. Like when RehabTime, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna do this for this time. I signed up forever.
Nice.
So it's like, I'm doing this forever. And one way that I think that I stay very loyal to RehabTime and the message, and I would ask people watching this is, and to who I am, if they were to take away, you know, the followers, the blue check, the views, the stages, the whatever, would you still do what you do? And my answer is always yes. Always yes.
Yeah, me too. I think about that, like, because none of that existed when like, you and I were kind of on the road. Like, we both kind of started out. I started out helping college kids. You were out talking to a lot of kids. Like, none of this that we have now, the trappings of today, it wasn't there when we began. Yeah. I think we have a little advantage about that. When you think about the market, and this is weird to ask influencers because often we don't think of ourselves in an industry.
Right.
We don't think about, you know, the market as like something we have to be competitive in or differentiated in, but like all brands are. Like Rehab is a brand. You are a brand, and that's different than me, Brendan, or different than, you know, lots of our friends who have their own thing. Like your market, the people who you talk to, how would you define them, and how would you say that you're different speaking to them than other people might be?
Yeah, my audience is people who have been through a lot, are dealing with a lot of pain, are dealing with loss, or dealing with some type of tragedy, and they want to make it out of that. They just don't know how. They just need a little bit of guidance. They just need a little bit of hope, a little bit of faith. And I understand that. Like, I understand where they're at. And, you know, of course, you have your mixture of people that might be in there and might be attracted to, you know, when I talk about social media, but my core audience is people who are going through a lot of pain. They want to turn that pain into their power. And so for me, that makes me different. You know, I don't know if it makes me different, but I really care. And I know this seems so, like, I guess basic, but I really care about these people. Yeah. Like, I spend hours a day, which I probably shouldn't, but I spend hours a day literally responding to message or after events. Like, I really, really care. And I think when you have that heart to care, people feel that. You know, even if I can't respond to every message, people know that Trent Shelton cares about his community, like almost like no other. You know, and I pride myself on that. And I know how to get to their heart, you know, and I think that kind of what separates me. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to help. And sometimes when you serve, when you help, you're not perfect in doing that.